Widowers, ignore everything everybody ever told you. Just go have a good time and do whatever the heck you want to do. My goodness gracious, you are so lucky in that your supervision is no longer there with you. So what do you do with all that? Well, gee willikers, we at Checki Financial disagree with that emphatically. What do I mean by that? In everyday language. By all means, and I do mean by all means, listen, learn, and apply what I'm about to tell you. Because all too often, widowers particularly, we have an outbreak of widowers in north central Texas. And stay tuned, we're going to have a series on this subject, having been a widower back in 1999 through 2001. I was lucky enough to meet my gifted, talented, and gorgeous wife, Susie. So what do? Point number one, take a deep breath. Be thankful for the experiences that you've already had with your darling and deceased wife. No kidding. Yes, you're going to be angry. Yes, you're going to be disoriented. Yes, you're going to misplace your glasses and your favorite cup and your favorite pen. And I'm going to highly recommend doing your best to always put things back where you'd like to find them the next time you look for them. In other words, have a home for everything that you have in your home. Two, after you've taken a deep breath and you've kind of gotten reorganized, realizing your brains have been scrambled, what can you do next? Well, what you can do is consider strongly picking a certain time of day to go to bed, a certain time of day to get up out of bed. And then, after you've done that, plan your meals in advance. Now, you may be lucky enough, I know in north central Texas we have this, where if you remember a church in a community, in a little while I'll be going to see my wife, Susie, and yes, we've been married now for 27 years come this July. Sing with the New Kings of Swing. But I digress. What you want to do is see how much community support you can have. There are any number of organizations, widow person services at all, that actually help you with the adjustment process. But step number one, you are going to be angry. You're going to be slightly disoriented. Like I said, your eggs have been scrambled and you need to take some time to cope, if at all humanly possible. We highly recommend that widowers make it a point not to make any completely life-changing decisions for the first couple of years. And why is that? You are subject to chasing shiny objects. You're going to be pursued of, and I'm not kidding, members of the opposite sex, women, who are going to think, oh, gee, this person is a fully trained unit. He needs supervision. I can help him with that. Commonly, widowers and widows seem to get together. Widows have a tendency, in most cases, not to worry about getting married all over again because they were so happy to, at any rate, be single again. Whereas widowers usually have a great need to remarry, depending upon your age, your various drives, your health, wealth, and the like. The healthier you are, the better looking you are, the richer you are, the more people you're going to meet who would like to become your new best friend or your romantic interest. Trying to steer clear of making any life-changing commitments for the first couple of years. I'll give you a horror story on that subject. Used to go to a particular gym, and there was another guy there that was also a widower, and he was basically spitting and complaining almost all the blinking time. Not an ugly guy, but he had made the mistake of getting married too quickly right after his wife died. He married someone much younger, totally inappropriate, and very attractive, none of which matched his background. And that being the case, very quickly he discovered that her spending habits and her drives were very different than his. She was in the 60s and she was just in her 40s. He was not that energetic a guy despite going to the gym on a regular basis. So it slowly but surely got him closer to being really worried about money, really worried about activity, really worried about the wisdom of his decision. So again, I highly recommend not making any major decisions when it comes to selling your house, starting new relationships, making radical changes in your diet, demeanor, or cars or transportation. Literally, when I became a widower on March 15th, 1999, I spent a lot of time trying to comfort other people as they missed my wife also. And after a couple of weeks of getting really tired of helping everybody else feel better about themselves, I went and did something that I commonly had done since I was a little kid, 14, scuba dive. So I took a plane to one of my favorite scuba diving spots, checked into a really nice hotel, and had a couple of days scuba diving trip and had a wonderful time doing that. That's the good news. Bad news is I was coming back on a charter flight with this big, and suddenly the airplane dropped several hundred feet rapidly right after takeoff. And I turned to the young lady next to me and we both said, and we can film the airplane turning back to where we had just come from. The airplane had blown an engine right after takeoff. Thank goodness it was after takeoff when they had enough height. So they circled back, landed. I got to spend the rest of the day for hours in an airport where I did not want to be, waiting for another piece of equipment, airplane, to come to the area to fly us home. However, nobody died, nobody got injured, everybody survived, got to get home safely eventually, but I had made no major decisions. Also, in my case, got to date half of North Central Texas, a whole bunch of different women, got to sing, dance, do all kinds of things, even did stand-up comedy for a period of time. And what did I discover? A whole bunch of people in North Central Texas, hopefully not where you live, have a bad habit of spending more money than they made, or even spending more money than their former husband or business associate had given them or they had earned over time. But they had a great collection of pillows, fabulous stoves that cost thousands of dollars, cars they could not afford, homes they could not afford, just were looking for someone to help them out, not only emotionally, but financially. So, widowers, take your time. Yes, it's okay to be popular, be cautious, and consult with lots of other guys and gals who've been through that situation, suddenly single. And in terms of Checki Financial, we specialize in helping people get what they want for themselves and how to avoid being old, sick, and broke, and how to adjust to your ages, stages, and phases on a regular basis. We have lots of experience doing this, and we really love doing this. We're wildly enthusiastic about what we do and how we do it. My story as a widower living through it is not the only story I have to tell you on that subject. We've helped any other number of guys go through that on a regular basis, including a little group called Romeos, which is retired old men eating out. And there are about 3 or 4 guys in that group of about 18 who have gotten to outlive their wives. Actually, I just thought of another one while I'm sitting here. How did they survive? Well, they've had community. They made it a point to really build that community and continue to be in that community and take comfort from the community and their family. In my case, I told my kids that there was really no need to give me advice until they started sending me checks. So they were kind enough not to give me any more advice other than just to stay well and stay healthy. I highly recommend, like I said before, getting up at a regular time, going to bed at a regular time, have a place for everything in your home and have an extra set of car keys and house keys, and have a little hook to go ahead and hang those up on a regular basis so that you will not get lost by accident. This is John Checki, and stay tuned. We'll have other videos on this very subject, how to be a successful widower, and how to be a surviving widow, and how to enjoy each age and phase of your life. This is John Checki wishing you a happy, healthy, and gorgeous day.